Okay, and so from question 10, I'm going to go and do part B straight away, just because I think we can pick those marks up really quickly, or at least I'm hoping so. This one's definitely harder, but we'll come back to that, okay? So you should have looked to see what the difference was every time, which was plus 5, plus 5, plus 5, plus 5. Because it's going up in the same amount every time, we say it's that number with an n. Now if it's going up in 5s, it must have been going down in 5s this way, so this number in front of that would be minus 1. Do we do it that way? No. So we write out the 5 times table above it, yeah? Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. What do I do to 5 to get to 4? Take away 1. What about 10 to 9? Take away 1 and so on. So it's going to be 5n minus 1. So you get 1 mark for having the 5n and 1 mark for the minus 1. Okay, so if you got those, tick it, give yourself the 2 marks. The next one, myself and Miss Cowley were quite surprised that it was only worth 1 mark when we think it's quite a hard question. You look at the difference between them, and if you look every single time, it goes 3, then 5, then 7, then 9, then 11, then 13. So they're not going up in the same number every time. So what do we do when they're not going up in the same number every time?
See the difference.
Good, we look at the difference underneath. Okay. Now you can see here with this one, that goes up in 2, then another 2, then another 2, and so on. If that is constant, what does that tell you? It tells you it's n squared. Good. Okay. So above this sequence, we're going to write out the n squared sequence, which would be the square numbers. 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, and so on. What do I do to 1 to get to 2? Add 1. 4 to 5, add 1. 9 to 10, add 1. So my sequence is going to be n squared, add 1. We felt that really you should be getting a mark for each of those bits, but they're only given a mark if you got both. Okay, so you needed to have the n squared plus 1. Okay, so again, 1n squared, absolutely perfect. Yeah, that's fine. Did you have that, did you? That was really good. If you wrote 1n squared, you're really picking up that to get the coefficient of that, you halve that number there. So half of 2 being 1, 1n squared actually shows a fantastic level of understanding. So if it was 4n, if these are all 4s, it would be 2n squared. Okay, really good sound. Coming up then to the top one, factorise and solve. That is when we look at a number that timeses together to make minus 12 and adds to make minus 4. Okay, so when I'm looking at numbers that times together to be a negative, what do we know about numbers that times together to give a negative answer? Good, 1 of each sign, 1 positive and 1 negative. Now I'm going to write a couple of those down because we're going to start thinking of pairs of numbers that times together to make 12. It doesn't matter about the sign at all at the moment, forget about it. Any 2 numbers that times together to make 12? 3 and 4. So if I had there plus 3 minus 4, what is plus 3 take away 4? It'd be minus 1, wouldn't it? That's minus 1, I'm supposed to get minus 4. So that, unfortunately, isn't my combination. So all I need to do now is think again of another pair of numbers that times together to make 12. Any pair. Can't be wrong. As long as it times together to make 12. 6 and 2. What is 6 take away 2? It's 4. Now I need minus 4. So we're not quite there, but Baz more or less got us there. Good. The 6 has got to be minus, and that 2 would be the plus, because plus 2 take away 6 would be minus 4. Bingo. We've got our combination. Okay? So, what we do now is we write down x bracket, like that, and then equals 0, only because they've got an equals 0 on the end there. And this combination of numbers is coming in. So a plus 2 goes in one bracket, and a minus 6 goes in the other bracket. And it doesn't matter which way around you had those written. You could have had the x minus 6 here, you could have had the x minus 6 here. It really doesn't matter. Okay? That will have got you 2 out of the 3 marks so far. When it says solve, this says a number times by another number equals 0. To times 2 numbers together and get an answer of 0, one of these answers must be 0. So either x plus 2 equals 0, or x minus 6 equals 0. Take the plus 2 over to the other side. X equals minus 2. take the minus 6 over to the other side, x equals plus 6. There's only one mark for that bit there, and if you're there thinking, don't get that, that isn't the end of the world. But you can certainly get those 2 marks there. You're all more than capable of getting these A grade marks. Okay?